Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Turin here with another Total War Warhammer live battlecast. In this particular game, we're going to be playing the Warriors of Chaos against Bretonnia. So in that case, Forsaken are going to be very, very good. One thing that Forsaken are quite weak to is, obviously Grail Knights do well against them, but any sort of cav and shock damage that they take, because, as it goes for Chaos Infantry, they are fairly lightly armored and do have a fairly low HP pool. So they only have 4,800 HP, whereas Chaos Warriors have 5,600 for about the same cost. So, but they do hit like trucks, 48 move speed, also great stats across the board, but their melee defense is also really low at 20, so got to be careful with those guys. So on top of that, we're going to get some aspiring champs. I like these guys quite a bit against Bretonnia. I feel like they're strong. The shields are silver, which is nice against the peasant bowman fire. Just all around great unit for, that perpetual encouragement. So on top of that, let's see, what lord do we want to get? I could get Sigvald just for laughs, but he's so slow. And King Lewin can just have his way with him. Kolek is a bit of an issue because he's such a big target, so you have to be careful with that as well. I really do like the Lord of Death, so we could get like a Chaos Sorcerer with Death, but again, Bretonnia has a pretty good sniping squad, so getting a Chaos Lord here, I just have to make the choice. Do I want to contest the skies? And I think we're going to try, actually. So we'll go ahead and get the Chaos Lord here. We will get the Lord of Death here. Spirit Leech is actually really good against the, or Lord of Death is pretty good against Bretonnia, so we'll get Spirit Leech, we'll get Soul Light, and we could get Doom and Darkness and like try and overcast it on some peasants or something. Let's just try it. I actually haven't played with it much, but we'll see how it goes. So we're going to get some Feral Manticores. Manticores are pretty good for like absorbing, not absorbing, but kind of breaking cav charges and allowing your Forsaken and other really good units to kind of get where they need to be. So on top of that, we're going to get some Warhounds just to kind of run around and be obnoxious, and then we're probably just going to chevron up our main army here. So hopefully it'll work out. The army won't be quite as good against a very like cav-centric strategy, but if he decides to just have kind of a standard peasant blob, I think the Forsaken, assuming they don't take too much peasant bowman fire, will do pretty well. The Aspiring Champions are a bit of an odd pick because they won't be able to keep up with the Forsaken, but I'm hoping that if it does go to a very like long atrocious battle, I'm not able to like nuke him with Lord of Death and the Manticores and things like that. I wanted to have something a little bit more sustainable there to kind of hold up, and for 550 it's a pretty good deal for sure. So actually, I wouldn't mind getting like a few Chaos Marauders just like in the secondary line, or maybe just like send them in first to take some fire. That actually might be an okay strategy. So let's go ahead and cut down on these guys. We're going to get rid of one of these, and then we're going to get two groups. We can't quite afford three, so I'd have to cut another Forsaken here. So that actually, yeah, let's just try it. Why not? Let's see what happens. So we'll go ahead and chevron these guys up. Just having fun. I don't really know. I'm sure there's a science to the efficacy of it, whether or not it's worth it, but I think it's fine. So this is a little bit more of a well-rounded army. The Forsaken, yeah, they're beasts, and probably on paper it's honestly better to just spam Forsaken, but just kind of experimenting with different army compositions, feeling things out a little bit. But the Chaos Air Force is really scary. Hopefully I didn't forget to get potions on my Lord. That would be really bad, but it's definitely scary. You can get the Flaming Sword of Ruin and just go for that like DPS nuke, or you can get the Spirit Leech, which I think is a bit of a safer pick, the Lord of Death, and also against the peasants and a lot of low leadership units, the Lord of Death is quite good. So. And I think they did fix the Beloved Son of Bretonnia, so it's not like constantly on now. So I think that was actually fixed in the last patch. So hopefully that's the case. So we're gonna go ahead and get our Chaos Marauders in the front line. Hopefully they'll be able to take the Peasant Bowman fire pretty well, and they're gonna be saturated with the Aspiring Champs here. So then we're gonna put our Forsaken kind of in the wings, just like so, because again we're gonna be like running around the flank and being very aggressive with them, and we want them a little bit further back so they're not taking aggressive missile fire. Then we're going to get our Goon Squad up here, and these Hounds, I wish I had Vanguard so I could like start them over here, but we'll probably just start them over yonder. So what's really nice about Hounds is like a lot of people, if you send like a group of Chaos Hounds, they'll like allocate like really expensive cav to deal with them, or even like a Paladin or King Lewin himself sometimes. So it's nice to get them just as like something else your opponent has to worry about, and they're really good for chasing down routing peasants. Like I've had a lot of games where my Chaos Warhounds have gotten upwards of 100 kills just from simply sitting in the back and serving as vultures. So Vulture is definitely pretty good against Bretonnia, so let's make sure, did I get my potions? I did. So that is very, very key here, because again, King Lewin is a beast, and he can hit pretty darn hard. So a little bit of lag. Hopefully my opponent doesn't drop, but very excited for the Bretonnia DLC. That's going to be a lot of fun. I just want to see all the heroic units, and their roster is so slim now, and they're still such a fun faction to play. So I'm really excited to see what they bring to the table. I'll definitely be doing a pretty long stream when they put that out there. So let's go ahead and start getting everyone going here. We'll get the Hounds going over there, and we should be good. So I'll be doing a really like dense long stream. And what kind of an army is this? Oh, okay. I thought these were all peasant bowmen. I was kind of perplexed there for a moment. So he actually invested very heavily in the Air Force. Actually, let's see. So he has 2 Pegasus Knights, so I should be fine, because Pegasus Knights aren't immune to psychology, so they're going to get terror routed probably by the Chaos Manticores. So I'm feeling pretty confident with that. So we're going to pull these guys over here, just get the Hounds kind of running in the back. And thankfully I did bring the Marauders. Marauders are quick, so they can, what are they doing? 35. So 35 move speed is pretty good. So we're just going to charge them ahead and then use the Forsaken to pressure my opponent's flanks. And Forsaken can crumble Spearmen at Arms like so hard. So it's a pretty good situation, but we don't want to engage with our flying air force until our melee is kind of like, you know, happening. Until our main army is here and they're doing their thing. So let's just continue moving towards my opponent. Just kind of park over here and just wait. We don't want to take any free peasant bowman fire because peasant bowman fire does pretty good against manticores. So only have 45 armor. So you really want to be pretty conservative with your engagement there. So it looks like he's just parking here. He has Knights of the Realm. And those Knights of the Realm will do pretty good against me. So I definitely need to be cognizant of that. So we're going to charge in here like so, and just kind of go across the front here. Nothing too fancy. Just having a good time. And then we're going to get these aspiring champs right here. And you want to keep them with those, you know, marauders at all times. So we're going to get these guys going here. We're going to get these guys running over yonder and these guys going over here. So far, everything's going relatively according to plan. We're going to head in with our Lord right now. We're also going to get the Chaos Poison Warhounds. See if we can get, you know, kind of slam into the back of these guys and just disrupt that firing line for as long as possible. You can see our Marauders are doing their job. They're taking the beating like champs for sure. So we're going to go ahead and get a Spirit Leech on King Lewin as soon as we can. We should be in range relatively shortly. I don't think my opponent's paying attention with those Knights of the Realm, which is great. So we're going to go in here and just kind of slam into these guys and just try and work down his flanks really aggressively. So we're going to path around here. And my Lord is getting in here, and I don't know if my opponent, yeah, it looks like he's moving now. So we're going to pull the Lord back just a little bit, just let the Manticores go in first. And also we're going to use a Soul Light right here, I think. So there we go, that's perfect. So right now, my Manticores are going to hit him. Let's go ahead and use the potion and just get everyone going. So King Lewin's taking a bit of damage. And again, he does have the regeneration, but in just like a bursted, you know, fight like this, he's not going to be able to, you know, essentially survive. So we're going to get these guys going in here. And unfortunately, one of my Forsaken is going to get rode down by the Knights of the Realm, but that leaves this entire other backside pretty exposed here. So I think we're going to kill King Lewin. He's pretty low. I don't mind trading Lords. I think that's a pretty good trade for me. So the Forsaken do get in here, and this other group of Forsaken is just going to dumpster his backline like so freaking hard. So I think I'm feeling pretty confident here. Lewin's low. We do have another Spirit Leech, so we're going to go ahead and find Lewin over here. Just go ahead and use that on him, and just try and do whatever we can. For some reason, it's not letting me click him, which is pretty obnoxious. So I think it got off there, so good. So we're continuing to focus him. My Lord is going to start taking beating though, because the potions did wear off. But honestly, with the amount of shock that's coming to my opponent's back line, I think we could win even if my Lord does die. So I'm going to start like running my Lord over here, and let's go ahead and use the big Doom and Darkness over here in the front line overcasted, which might honestly just cause a mass rout. So, you know, the two Pegasus Knights actually trading really well with me here, and we did get that overcasted thing here, and you can see the leadership of his entire army is pretty much crumbling. So he did kind of punish my Forsaken over here as was expected, but still pretty good trades with those Knights, and over here you can see his entire army is just kind of in shambles right now. So pretty good. King Lewin is very, very low. We're still going to trade, which is great. So we're going to finish off these Pegasus Knights, and honestly at that point, my Lord's still alive. He's running from those Manticores, but you know, everything of my opponents, that massive Doom and Darkness just triggered like a massive rout, because when you overcast it, it does target everything, guys. So pretty good value there. You can see the Forsaken going ham here, and I know a lot of you guys always ask for cinematic shots in these games, so it's hard to do it in the BattleCast because it's live, but hey, I'll try when I can, guys. I'll try when I can. But this game is pretty much over. Right now, just kind of cleaning up. I don't know what he has left. Let's go ahead and take a look here. So he does have the Knights of the Realm. That's what it is. So pretty much all the peasants were routed, and pretty solid, decisive victory. So yeah, my opponent was a little late to react with King Lewin, although he did pull King Lewin back, which was good. Then he engaged with the Pegasus Knights, which was very, very solid play. And then, you know, again, he got that good initial shock there, but we traded relatively evenly in the air. And obviously he knew King Lewin probably wasn't going to get away from those Manticores, so he stood and fought, which, you know, was probably smart. But, you know, the Doom and Darkness was pretty good. I probably would have used maybe the Pegasus Knights. Instead of like engaging in the air, I might have just run with King Lewin initially, used the Pegasus Knights to just dumpster my Forsaken on the wings, because those Pegasus Knights would have made pretty short work of my Forsaken. And then also put one of the Grail Knights and one of the Knights of the Realm on each side, because his flanks were just so exposed there. And I think if he had been able to protect both sides against the dual groups of Forsaken, he would have been in really, really good shape. Because the Forsaken getting into the back line was really, really bad for my opponent. And he kind of overloaded his cav on one side and just kind of dumpstered one side, but then the other side was completely vulnerable. So that would just be my feedback. But anyways, yeah, good performance from the Forsaken. Aspiring Champs and Marauders, I mean, they did pretty good. 35, 34, 50 kills. I mean, it is against peasants, but they took those, you know, missiles like Champs, and my Forsaken came in relatively unscathed. So that wasn't bad. You guys saw the Lore of Death and how good it can be against Bretonnia. You know, the Soul Blight's very good for that initial engagement, just damage mitigation. On top of that, Spirit Leech is very good for that Air Force duel, and Doom and Darkness is actually a pretty good performer. So I haven't used that much in the past, but I think I'm going to try it in more builds and see how it goes. So as far as my opponent's army goes, again, just kind of gave you guys my breakdown. I honestly think that, you know, the Knights of the Realm should have been on one side, Grail Knight should have been on the other, and then use the Pegasus Knights to just punish my Forsaken and just kite around with King Lewin. And even if you eventually lose him to the kite, just keep running. I think he could have done enough damage to my army where, you know, my relatively quote-unquote weak, you know, front line with Chaos Marauders might have crumbled. So well played to my opponent anyways. What's his name over here? Captain Underpants. I look forward to seeing you again on ladder, and I hope you guys all enjoyed this live Battlecast. Have an excellent night, and take care.